All right, so we're going to go over installing WordPress and go over the various aspects of WordPress. And let's get started. So what we're going to do here is instead of building a website on the internet, which means that we have to purchase a domain and purchase a hosting space, instead we're going to build it on our own local environment using MAMP. Now, MAMP is basically software, and sorry, I'm going to repeat certain things just because I'm recording, so it will be clear later in the recording, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so MAMP is a software that basically creates containers within our computer so that we can create websites on our computer. So what we're going to do here is firstly create an environment for our test website. So what we're going to do here is click this plus sign, and this is something that usually most people just start building on a World Wide Web, but I think this is a good thing to grasp and understand. So that's why we're going through it. So let's call this, we'll just call the folder testing. Now, MAMP Pro also allows us to install WordPress already. So there are a couple of platforms that MAMP Pro will pre-install for you just automatically, so you don't have to go through the process. But I wanted to go through the process, the manual process, because I think it's a good knowledge to have. So we're not going to have MAMP Pro install this. We're instead going to just create a folder for where we'll store the WordPress files. And a system like WordPress also needs a database. WordPress is a database-driven website, so we'll have MAMP Pro create a database. And here we will click continue. And in the database name, we'll just call it testing and click continue.
Could you zoom in a bit?
Oh, yes. Let me do that.
Yeah, that's better.
Better? Okay. Okay, so we're creating the folder to hold our website. We're calling this folder testing. So this is where it will go, and I'll click choose. Okay. So here it is, and then we will click now. This should simply create the folder, but again, for the same reason as yesterday, MAMP has given us issues, but we should solve it this time.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try this again. Testing. Create database. I'll call this again Thirster. I'll use that. Okay. I'm restarting the servers to see if that fixes what's going on here. Okay, so this is what came up last time. Okay. Trying it again. Just bear with me one moment. We'll get this solved.
Yeah.
Okay, so something is wrong with this particular install, so I will have to do it again later. We'll still be able to move on, but I'll have to do it later. But I'm going to show you what's going on. So I'm going to start this over. So let's do that here. Okay, so this is MAMP Pro, and we're going to create a new container at this point. And usually it's just as easy. So I create this, I press this plus sign, and then I create a name. Let's call this, and this name is just a container here. A container is a folder within our website, within our computer. So I'm calling this Santa. I'm going to create a database and call it Santa as well. And that's it. We should be good to go. I click continue. I create that folder. Click choose. And we should be good to go here. And usually we should be able to click save, but for one reason or another, that's not happening. So there is some corruption that's happening. And if I try to restart the servers with the new container, let's try it again here. I get this here. So what we're going to do instead is just restart this software because that seems to work. So I'm just going to click Quit MAMP Pro, save and quit. And I'm going to open it up again. So this is troubleshooting, which sometimes you'll have to do. Okay, so there's the folder we just created. I'm going to restart the server. And it works. And this is just what we have to do at this point until I get this solved. So the way we know it works is because now I can now click this button that's highlighted. And when I click it, it brings me to a page like this. This is basically the website. So the website is there. All the files for WordPress will be here. And this is how it currently looks, the website. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the WordPress file here. And we're going to go to wordpress.org and download the WordPress file.
Okay.
I'm going to click Get WordPress. It's going to bring me to this page, and I'm going to download the self-hosted WordPress. All right. So I'm going to find the folder where I have all my websites. This is the folder we just created. And I'm going to put this WordPress zip inside.
Okay. Is it necessary or just so you know where it is?
So I know where it is. And also the reason why I put it within the Santa is because it's currently a zip. So let me bring up the folder here. So this is the container we just created, right? The folder we just created, and I just downloaded WordPress, and WordPress comes in a zip file. And the reason why I put it in this folder is because firstly, it's just, it's where this file is going to go, but I could have put it, in the desktop folder.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. But the important thing is that I need to unzip it. So when I double click it, it's going to open the file. And so this is the file here. These are all the files that we need.
Okay.
So once I double click it, it's going to unzip it, and I can now do away with this, do with the zip. I'm going to move that to trash. The file that we need is here. So I'm going to open this file in a new tab, and I'm going to bring the tab over here. Just going to bring it out. And then what I'm going to do is copy all of these files within the WordPress folder and move it into my Santa folder.
Okay.
Okay. So now, having done that, let me delete the initial WordPress folder because now it's empty.
Yeah.
And I can also delete the MAMP Pro. And the license text, move to trash. Okay, so now that I have these WordPress files within the folder we just created, now when I go to the website directly, it brings us to the WordPress install page. So this is the WordPress install page, and this is the first screen that you see once you begin the process of installing WordPress. So we're just going to go through this process. We're going to select our language, which is English. And then the next is we have to add our database. And we're going to click Let's Go. And so we need to plug in our database details. And we initially created a database when we were putting together the folder. So we call this Santa. The username is just a default username. This will change for the different hosting environments that you use. So for instance, when you actually start building websites on the World Wide Web, they'll provide you with you'll come up with your own username and password. Like if you're using GoDaddy or One-on-One or any one of these other hosting companies. But because this is on our local computer, it's just a default.
Yeah.
And the database host, this is where the database is located. And when you build a website on the World Wide Web, you'll have a URL that's provided to you by the hosting company. But because we're using our local computer, because we're using our computer here, it's going to be just localhost. And the table prefix is the prefix that will be appended to all the database records of your website. And all of this will be clear as you interact with these terms more and more in the future. But we can either leave it as WP. However, when you start actually building websites on the World Wide Web, you always want to change this because it's a security issue. So you want to change it to something that's not WP. So we'll just do W3P. Now we've plugged in our database name, and I think the username is admin, and I think the password is root. If we do not have these two correct, it will tell us that they are wrong, and we'll have to try to find out what that is. So let me go ahead and click submit after submitting our database details. Okay, so there was an issue trying to establish database connection because probably the username is wrong. So let me try to remember whatever else it could have been. So perhaps it was root admin. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Let's try something else. Okay, so that was it. Root and root. But again, that's the default. So after connecting a database to the WordPress install, it brings us to this next page. So here we can then run the installation. And when we run the installation, this is where we have to enter the details for the site. So we'll just call this, we'll just call it a test site. Do you want to call it anything?
No preference. Test is okay.
Okay. So this is the site title. We're going to give it a username, and let me open up a separate file here so I have details of what we're doing.
Okay.
So username, we'll call it tester. So we'll just Copy this, put it here, and this is going to be the password. It makes your password very complex. It's good to have complex passwords so that nobody tries to hack your website.
Okay.
And I'm going to put an email here, and let's call it sambuno@gmail.com. And then it gives you the option for search engine visibility. Generally, you never want to click this because obviously if you build a website on the World Wide Web, you want the search engine to find it. However, there are instances where you may not want that to happen. So you'll just click this, but we'll leave it as it is. Okay, so we've entered the details of our website. So now we'll click Install WordPress. It's installed, and here are our details. And now we can go directly to log in. And so we'll enter our details. So what's happening with the install process, even though it looks fast and seamless, is that all the files are being integrated with the database is being integrated with the files and putting together, and it's actually just connecting both and ensuring that we can interact within that space within WordPress. Okay, so voila, we are done. We just installed WordPress, and this is the process for installing WordPress on any environment and even on the World Wide Web. So when you start building websites on the World Wide Web, it will be the same process. You'll have to create a database and then upload the files to the server, connect the database to your WordPress, and then just go through this process. And once you're done, it's relatively straightforward. We just did this in less than 5 minutes. But when that's done, this is our website. So we're going to go through some aspects of WordPress at this point, and just go through the back end and what's available to us. But so this is it. This is the back end. Let's look at the front end. Let's see how the front end looks at this point. And this is the front end. This is how the front end looks. We're going to make changes to these, so you'll just see how easy it is to interact with WordPress. So this being the front end, you have access to a lot of information, and all of this will become familiar as you engage with it more. So it just gives you some quick menus here. Gives you your site health status once your site is running along for a bit longer. Gives you just the content on your site so far. So we have just one post and one page. And this is news from external services outside of your website. And this is just some WordPress events. And all of these you can disable if you don't need it by going to screen options and just unchecking what you don't need. So WordPress, as you see here, it's a pretty straightforward platform. And what you see here is a theme. So with WordPress, you can build many different types of websites. And because it powers 30% of the internet, there is and are a lot of resources. So as you go through, you're going to have questions about how to do certain things. If you just type your questions into Google, you'll see many people and many support pages that will guide you along on your way. But back to this. So WordPress, this is a theme that we're currently using. WordPress is similar to, it gives you the ability to change the style of your website very easily. So let's go to appearance here, and then we'll go to themes. So this is currently the theme that we're using, but you can download many other themes to make your site look a different way. So this is the current site. However, if we apply a different theme, activate, our site will look different. See? And you can get new themes by simply going into Appearance, come into Themes, and clicking on Add a New Theme. Now, here you have a whole host of selection, a large selection of various themes that you can use. And these are all free. And with themes, basically themes are a starting block. So it gives you an initial look, presentation, and you learned about CSS earlier. And CSS is how you'll actually design your theme, because sometimes you may want this color to be different. You may want to move this somewhere else. You may want to remove this. All of that will be done, but with CSS. Now, CSS is a very large language, so you don't require the full knowledge of it to interact with WordPress. In fact, most of these themes will have menus that allows you to build and make your website look the way that you want it to look very easily. But just the initial stages, you can change the look of your site by selecting from various themes. Now, these are featured themes, but there are also some other popular themes that just go on and on and on. Latest themes, these are the newest themes that people have built. These are some favorite themes, which is your favorite theme, so you'll add that here. But so you can change the look of your site through the theme option. Now, themes are so much a part of WordPress because themes are what allows you to build the type of WordPress site that you want. And there are so many themes out there. For instance, let's go to a theme marketplace. This is just one of many theme marketplaces. So this is where you can buy themes for your website. And there are a bunch of themes. So we'll go to WordPress, we'll go to some popular items. Now a marketplace like this has over 10,000, 20,000 themes. So you can find different themes that do different things. Because these are paid themes, they offer a lot more in terms of functionality. And you can, let's say that you want to build a site for your friend who's having a wedding, or a friend who wants to open a restaurant. There are themes connected with that. So for instance, let's go into one of this here. This is a WordPress theme. A wedding themed WordPress theme, a wedding themed WordPress site. So you can see it's has a different color scheme. It looks different. This is just one theme that you can apply on your website. So once you buy it, you can then apply this theme. Let's go to hotels.
But these are usually like a starting point, right?
These are usually starting points, but you see how these look. They look pretty good. So let's go into, so you'll make your website look like this. So once you buy this theme, you can simply make it look exactly like this, like what we have here. So let's go into this one here. So this is a theme for a hotel. So once you install this on your own install, once you buy the theme, you can then just set it based on instructions for it to look like this. And then you can change it also. You can change the colors, you can move this around, and that will require your knowledge of HTML and CSS. But just the default itself, just the default presentation looks pretty good. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
It's very professional, very clean, and all the functionalities are there for you, such as booking online. And that's what this sort of WordPress system offers you. Like these themes are actually built by people like you and I. Once you get very good at coding, then you can actually build your own custom themes from scratch. But before that, you'll be buying themes like this, because these take a lot of time to put together, especially the complexity of functionalities like these, like booking details and so forth. So if you don't have time to put together a custom website, you can just use a theme and then modify it. And that's usually what most people do. This is what most even agencies, what most marketing agencies do, because you can always find a theme that fits your particular goal and objective, and then you just modify it by changing various things. But you have the core block of functionality that you need. But very professional, very clean, and there are many, many, many themes that you can pick from based on what you're looking for. So we just initially looked at hotels, but there are many. So what you'll do is just you'll buy this theme and then you'll install it on your WordPress.
Yeah.
And by clicking upload theme, but we're going to use the default theme here. So let's go back to it. I just wanted to show you the marketplace, and there are many other marketplaces. So we're going to use the default theme here, and let's just go back and make sure that it's active. Okay, there it is. So WordPress is a content management system. It allows you to organize content, which is the key thing that you are doing with a website. And to give you a more conceptual view of it, think of WordPress as an engine. It's like a car engine. And we just installed the engine that we need to power our website. And so the themes are like the body style on the car. So you can, put different body styles on a car. You can put a Porsche body style. You can put a Mercedes body style. You can put a Citroen body style. You can put any kind of body style. It's just the way that the car looks. But what powers it is WordPress. So that's basically how you should view this platform, or WordPress itself. And the WordPress platform is a very powerful system in that it allows us to organize content very easily and very effectively. Because without WordPress, we will be building websites from scratch. So when you were learning HTML, you would have to basically code various things and various complexities into your site, and that takes a while. And that's why content management systems like WordPress make websites so easy, and that's why it really powers 1/3 of the websites in the world. Let me open up the front end of the website here, and I'm going to split the screen in two so we can have a good view. So here we have our front page of WordPress. We're going to go through and kind of edit that a bit here. So make sure I can see this. I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to general. And then I'm going to just enter some details here to change what we have here on the front end. So for instance, here we have just another WordPress website. That's what we have here. Tester, just another WordPress website. We'll call this is our tester website. And once we click save, our changes are immediately reflected on the front end. See, right here?
Yep.
Let's go through more of our settings here. Let's go through our writing. Okay, we don't need to, usually we don't need to edit this. Let's go through to our reading. Now, our homepage, the way our homepage is right now, which is what this is, the homepage displays our latest posts. WordPress is divided into posts and pages. Mm-hmm. And usually, initially, WordPress started as a blogging software. So a blog is just you write your daily activity on, it's like a diary that you put online, but then it turned into something that can do a lot more than blogging. So our homepage currently is set to display our post or our newest post. So we're going to change it for it to display a static page. But before we do that, let's go through what posts and pages are. So let's go to the post section and let's create a new post. Let's add a title. And we'll just add some quick content. We'll click publish. And because our site is currently set to show our most recent blog posts, when I refresh the front page, our newest blog post will show here.
Yeah. All right.
And you're probably used to this because you've done WordPress.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So as we add more and more posts, it will just all show here. So this is where, like, for instance, if you're doing like a daily diary, you'll use the post section to put the different days and your content here, and it will show here. You'll put the title, you'll put the content, your name will appear here, the date, and so forth. And then you'll have like a daily journal. Now, a lot of companies usually have blogs, and this is the function that they use. Now, posts are different from pages in that posts are usually where you put your daily content or news that you want to make available to people very easily. And pages is where you'll put your like your about us, your services, your contact. Let me show you an example with my own site. So, so this is my site here, and these are pages right here. So I have my home, my about, services, blog, portfolio, courses, contacts. So if we go into my about page, the about page is really, the content is static. It doesn't change. It provides information to people, and it just tells about me. Now, when I go into the blog, I have a bunch of blogs talking about different things, and it allows me to journal and write about marketing and various things of that nature. But the pages are static, and the blog provides me with a journal, sort of like a daily journal, to write about various things about marketing. And so that's the difference between page and the page element and the blog element on WordPress. Do you have any questions on this one?
No, so far it's good.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we can either leave this just with our blog, leave our website, the front end, to show our blog section, or we can change it to have a static page. So for now, let's leave it to show our newest blog, because we're probably going to change it in the future. But let's look at some other aspects of WordPress. Now, within our blogs, within our content, we can add images and many other features like links or links to other websites, YouTube, and just various things that we can add to our blog. And this is currently using you may be familiar with the older text editor that came with WordPress. This newer version uses a system called blocks, which is what you see here. So we can just sort of add a new block if we want to add new content. So if we want to add a gallery, we just come here, click it, and then we have a bunch of different format blocks that we can use. So here I select gallery. I'm going to look in the media file. There's nothing here, so I'm going to upload something. I'm going to upload a file from my computer. And we'll use these both as images. All right, so we're good to go. I'll click create a new gallery, insert gallery, and there it is. If I click refresh, our images show here. Okay, so we have a search function, and this is just unique to this theme. Most themes will have a search function, but I guess let's go deeper into perhaps editing and changing the appearance of our theme, this theme that we've chosen. So when you buy a theme, or when you get a theme, or when you select a theme, you'll probably want to change certain aspects of things. So let's go ahead and do that here. So that will be in the appearance section, and we can go into customize to do that. We're going to change the color and other aspects. So when we click on customize, it brings us to a page here where we can immediately engage with certain elements of the site. So you'll see these edit icons here that will allow us to change the things that we want to change. And this just makes it easier to make changes. You can go into colors, change the color of our site.
Okay.
And then most themes will have a theme option. This being the default theme, it has a very simple theme option. Cover template. These are just the various colors that make up the theme. Background image, we can select the background image. So we'll have something like this for the background, but obviously, and as you make changes and you choose settings from the back end, from the customize menu, you'll see it immediately reflected in the preview. Yeah. But we're not going to do that. So this is particularly unique to this theme, these theme options, but this is where you'll usually go to make changes to your themes. Now, if you buy a theme from a marketplace, it's going to provide you with far more options in terms of customizability. So you can perhaps, for instance, if you buy one that's hotel themed, it'll give you different options to create that functionality. But let's get out of here. So this is where you'll make the edits for your appearance. Now, as you can see, as far as appearance, the settings provided here are very basic. For instance, compared to what you've looked over, so you've looked over HTML, you've looked over CSS. If you want to actually use the CSS to make certain changes, this is where you'll do it. So you'll come to appearance, you'll come to additional CSS, and there'll come a point where you actually start using this, where you'll actually start applying different looks and appearances based on your knowledge of CSS onto WordPress, but that's not now. But just having that knowledge is very good, because you can change the color of this, you can change various aspects. As you can see, my website looks different from this, but all of that is just using HTML and CSS to give my site the look that I want it to have. But the options here as far as presentation and changing it, it's very basic, but it's just for usually most people who get into WordPress, they don't have that full knowledge of HTML or CSS. So the settings provided by the theme usually is sufficient to get by and put together what you're looking for. So like for instance, if you go and buy a theme, you don't really need to have full knowledge of HTML or CSS, but it's good to have it. But if you go buy the theme, you can have the instructions will be there to make it look like the demo, which is usually what you're looking for.
Okay.
Now, WordPress is, as I mentioned, it is an engine, a very powerful engine for building your website. And then you have your body styles, like the body that you put on the engine. The other aspect of WordPress is the widgets section. Widgets allows you to add complex functionalities into your website. So like, let's say that you want your website to accept payments. Like, let's say you want to build an e-commerce website to sell things. And the website, the WordPress install is really just, it's just the engine. And so you want to add new functionalities into your engine. You know, maybe you want to make it fly, you want to make it accept payments, you want to make it do different things. So the widget section or the widgets integration into WordPress really gives you the ability to do a whole bunch of things. Let's go into that here. But firstly, let's look at the installed plugins. And let me just kind of clarify those terms. Widgets are the same as plugins, but slightly different. So widgets can change the appearance of your website. Widgets can change and add new functionalities to your websites. Plugins is a more all-encompassing name for the different things that you can, the operation of adding a widget to your website, because we're basically plugging in different functionalities. It's like, you know, if you have, if you have like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you're plugging in different functionalities. You know, it's like, well, like right now you are plugging in the knowledge of HTML and CSS into your brain, right? So
Yes.
you're basically plugging in different knowledge, plugging in different functionalities, and plugging in different abilities. And so that's what the plugin section of WordPress allows you to do. So currently right now we have 2 plugins. This is useless. It's just it comes in every WordPress install, so we'll just delete that. But the anti-spam plugin uses AI to block spam that comes into your website, so it's very useful. It's not activated yet. We'll do that later. And this one here, we can go ahead and delete it. But what we're going to do here is go into the options for plugins. And there are thousands of plugins that allows your website to do various things. You can put together a forum where different people can come to your website and talk about different things, kind of like Twitter or something like that. You can add different elements or different features to your website. So let's look at perhaps a membership plugin for our website. So this will allow you to build a membership website. So let's say that you want to build a membership website around a particular game. These will allow you to do that, and these would give your website the functionality to do that. Let's say that you want to add a contact page to your website. So you want to be able to get information from people. So you just type in contact, and there are various contact forms you can use. And we're actually going to use contact form 7. So let's install that. And some plugins are free and some plugins are paid, but most that you find here are free. So we're going to use this contact form 7 to build a contact page. So I just installed it, and I'm going to click activate. And that appears here. Now we'll come back to this. Let's go back into plugins. Basically, anything that you want your website to do. Let's say that you wanted to whatever. I can't even think of a concrete example, but whatever you want your website to do, you can find a plugin that will help you to do that easily. Now, also, just like themes, these plugins are things that people like you and I will build for our websites, and then we just make it available to everyone. And that's so as you get better and better in WordPress, you may come to a point where you're like, you know what, I need my website to be able to change color based on the different part of the world that people come from. Well, you'll build a plugin for that if you want that functionality.
Yeah.
But currently, there are many plugins. So myself, I've never had to build a plugin because there's a plugin for anything and everything already out there. I mean, there's so many. There's security plugins, which you'll become familiar with later. Once your site is on the World Wide Web, you always want to use a security plugin because people will try to hack your website. There's a website for backing up your whole website. We'll actually do that later in the future when we move the website to a live install. But many different plugins, many different ways to build a website. Okay, so let's go
Can
back.
you edit plugins?
Hmm?
Can you edit the plugins, or are they like fixed?
Very good question. So the plugins are functionalities that you add into your website. So they are actually things that they provide a specific feature to your website. So although you can easily edit it, if you need to edit a plugin, then it's probably not the plugin you're looking for. So let's say that you're building a website like we have here, and you want your website to be able to change colors every time someone new comes to it. Well, you can find a plugin for that, but the plugin will provide that specific ability to do that. So if you need to edit the plugin, then it may not be the plugin, it may not be what you're looking for, but you can certainly edit it. Look, so let's say that the plugin allows your website to change colors, but it only provides two colors, pink and orange. But you want it to have a third color or a fourth color. Yes, you can easily change it. And plugins will also have menus that allows you to customize the various parameters. So yes. So the answer to your question is yes, you can change it. You can edit it. However, most plugins will give you already what you're looking for. But yes, there are instances where you'll have to edit the plugins, but that's usually rare. But answer your question, yes. And when you do download the plugin, actually, you do have to do some settings to actually make it work with your website. So, for instance, we just downloaded the contact form plugin.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay. So we just downloaded the contact form the contact form plugin, and let's actually go ahead and add this to our website. So we're going to go through the process of adding this to our website. It's already integrated, but now we want it to show on the front end so that people can actually send us information. So let's go ahead and do that. So once the plugin is activated, it will show here on the left-hand side, and sometimes it's hidden. Like for instance, contact form 7 actually shows here, so that's good. But sometimes it might be in appearance, sometimes it might be in the settings, sometimes it might be in the tools section. But this one's here. So let's go ahead and set it up here. We'll just click on contact forms. And so this is the plugin for us to create a contact form. Now, let's create a contact form. So I'm going to click Add New. And this is the default query field. So your name, your email, subject, your message. And let's just call this the contact page contact form. Let's make sure it has everything that we need. So we want a name, email, subject, message. So this is the form, and this is the way that we do it on the plugin here. So for instance, let's say that if we wanted a phone number from the person who's going to submit their information, we can just click on this here. Now this is probably just slight bit complicated, but once you interact with this 1 or 2 times, it will make sense. So all the functions and you're going to have many different things that you want to get from a customer or from someone information. So let me again go to my website. And let's go to the contact page section. So mine is pretty straightforward, and I'm actually using the same thing, contact form 7. So I'm asking for first name, last name, email, phone number, company name, and comment, which is basically the same as text area. However, I changed it to say, please tell us how we can help.
Yeah.
So we're pretty straightforward. And this is where I select whatever it is that I want to get from people. So currently we have your name, we have your email, subject, your message. And I think that's sufficient right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and leave it as it is. And
can you just type out something if you want it, or you have to go to the different tabs on top?
Very good question. So with this particular plugin, it gives you the most important query fields that most people would be needing for their contact form. Now, you can make it more complex, yes. However, these are the default ones that you would usually use. So basically, like everything from multiple choice questions to drop-down questions, all of that is made available for you here. Because like within the contact field, there's not much more that you need. Well, sometimes you may get into complex scenarios, so that you can definitely edit this to give you that additional feature. But most of your scenarios that you'll encounter, this will suffice. Now you can type in, you can type this in, like I can duplicate this, sure. And as you use WordPress more and more, you may be able to just recall the code easily. And now this is just contact form 7. There's also different contact forms as well. And the reason why these are available is because let's say that we do let's do something here. Let's do a drop down. Okay, so this just, with contact form 7, when it presents this menu, the whole purpose is to make it easy for you to create the element that you're looking for. And before I do a drop-down menu, let's just go ahead and use the default one here. We'll come back to this. I'm going to click Save. Actually, one thing here. Okay. I'm going to click Save. And this short code is what we're going to add to a page for it to show on our front end. So let's get out of here. So this is the one that we just created. Don't worry about this, the error detected. But this is the one that we just created. I'm going to copy the short code, and we're going to add it to one of our posts. So the post that we just created, I'm going to add it here. So I just put the code here. And this is just how contact form 7 makes our forms available to us. Okay. If you use a different contact form plugin, it will be different as well. So I'm going to click Update and then refresh this page. And you see our contact form is here.
All right. And this automatically claimed the latest post, right? Because it was updated.
Correct. So because we added this to the post, the post that we just created,
Yeah.
it appears on that post. So if we create a different post, and we add the tag to that post, it will appear there. But let's do something different here. Let's go ahead and actually add this contact form to a contact page. So let's create a contact page. I think that will make things a bit clearer. Let's create a contact page. So I go into the page section, I click add new. Let's call this a contact page. Okay, and I'll click publish to create this contact page. Perfect. And so I need to add the contact page into our menu system. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to go into appearances. I'm going to go into menus, and then I'm going to create a main menu. Create menu. And I'm going to add the contact page and a sample page into that menu system. And I'm going to select where this menu will appear. So I'm going to add it to, so right now, this is where the menu appears.
Oh.
Okay, so we have the sample page already. But I want it to also appear, I'm going to have it appear on top. And the mobile menu and the footer menu, and I'm going to click save. So we just created a menu section. Okay, so you see our contact page?
Yep.
So this is now the page for our website. I mean, the contact page for our website. Let's create 2 more pages. We're gonna create an About Us page. And what else? About Us, contact.
Gallery or something.
Gallery, okay, let's do a gallery. That's a good one, because that's, you can add pictures there. Gallery, okay. All right. Just update, okay, we're good to go. So we currently have the About, Contact, Gallery. And let's go ahead and remove these 2 because we did not create it and they don't have any, it's just not important. So we have our About Us, Contact, and Gallery. And on our website, we'll add it to the top menus here. And so we'll go into Appearance, we'll go into Menus. We'll remove this here. And so in our main menu structure, let's go ahead and add the gallery, the About Us, or just click, and we'll click Add to Menu. So that will be there. We'll move the contact page to be the last one. We'll put the About Us on top. And then we will click Save. Now, with WordPress, you can build the menu structure, and that's what we're doing here. The menu structure is just how the menu appears. So for instance, on my site, I have home, about, services, blog, and so forth. And in the menu settings, you'll select where that menu structure will appear. And this will be similar for any theme or any site that you build on WordPress. And we can move our menus very easily around. Okay,
Yeah.
with that being the case, let's click Save Menu. And then we'll click Refresh, and now we have an About Us, a Gallery, Contact page. Now let's add one more. Let's add a home page.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so we have our home page here, and let's go into our menu and add that to our site. We'll put that on top here. We'll click Save Menu. Okay, and now we have our website, Home, About Us, Gallery, Contact page. Now, one more thing. We need to add our blog page. All of this will be clear as we move along. Okay, so we'll do our blog. We'll go into our menu section, and we'll also add our blog. And this is like the usual menu structure for most businesses. It has your home, the About Us, usually services here, blog, and contact page. Okay, perfect. So now we have our home, About Us, gallery, blog, and contact page. So as we mentioned earlier, we're going to add the contact form to our contact page. So let's do that here. Going back into the back end, we're going to go into our pages that we created. We'll go into our contact page. And here, we want to add our contact form. Now, there's two ways to go about it. We can either go into the contact plugin menu here, and we can just copy this short code and put it. We can copy this short code, go back into our page, go to our contact page, and paste it. We can do that. Or it might be available within our blocks. So if we click on this menu here, we click contact. Is it there? No, it's not there. So with contact form 7, we'll just have to paste the code here as we have it, and we'll click update. So now when we go to our contact page, we have a contact form. We have the contact page and contact form.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're going to go through one by one these pages and basically edit it to what we're looking for. We're going to remove all this and just have a good website that, you know, that looks well and presents well. So we've just done our contact page. But we're also going to change the home page and change our About Us page and change our gallery page and change our blog page. We're basically going to build a website and on WordPress and get that knowledge. But so we just created our contact page. The next thing that we can do is create other aspects of the pages. But let me ask you, so all of this will take a very long time. Well, not a long time. I think this is the longest. But as we go through and create the various pages, you know, that's just what you'll see. And as we go through this, you know, so the 4 or 5 pages remaining, as we go through this, you'll have more questions and, you know, things will just slowly become clear. But I want to know, let's stop here for now because we can just continue and continue. And let's continue back up tomorrow or Monday to go through other aspects of WordPress.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. Are you okay with that, or do you want to continue?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Because I know you may be tired by now.
Nah, but it's interesting, and I'm enjoying it. So.
Okay.
But we can continue another day. That's fine.
Okay. So
just a question. So this is all for, let's say, for computers. When you design a web for a phone or an iPad or something, does it change much or not really?
That's a very good question. Before, in the past, it was necessary to build a website for different versions, for different dimensions, like a phone or an iPad. But today, when you build a website, it's responsive. It should be responsive. What does that mean? Responsive means that the website adjusts to the dimension, so you don't have to make any additional changes. So for instance, this is our contact page on a normal computer, but if we bring it smaller to an iPad, it starts to change. So for instance, you'll notice certain things that are happening right now. So pay attention to the menu.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Mm-hmm. It becomes this. Now, when we click it, see, it changes.
Okay.
But
that's based on the theme, or is that something like, I'm guessing now it's a code on the theme, right?
Correct. So now it is a standard on all themes. And when you start building websites, you'll build it responsively. Because if you don't build it responsively, what will happen is if someone were to view this on an iPad or a phone, you'll have something like this.
Okay.
Which doesn't look good. So when things become responsive, they just adjust. So as the screen gets smaller, everything adjusts. So for instance, the search was here, the menu was here, look at it as well as that changes. So everything just adjusts to fit mobile or an iPad. But now it's default when you buy a theme, and it's now part of the standards of web design. So as you get into more web stuff, even what you've seen from Code Academy with HTML and CSS, it's actually part of the learning in terms of building responsive websites that adjust to screen sizes. So in answer to your question, no, you don't have to build a different website for mobile or iPad. The singular website that you build will be able to show on mobile or iPad very easily because you have built it in a responsive manner.
All right.
Okay. So, you want to start back up on Monday? So on Monday, we'll do an hour. We'll just get this done, let's say next week, an hour each day, get it done. And I think that will, from the questions that you ask and from other, just from you going through what we're doing here, things will become clear. And then maybe on next Saturday, when we finish, you can then take your time to download MAMP Pro and build your own website, and just take as long as you need to, and go from there.
Sounds good. Sounds amazing.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So I'm going to end this here, and then I'm going to probably upload this to YouTube. I'll send you a link. So it'll be like 5 parts at the end of it. And do you have any questions at this point for me in regards to what we've gone over, or WordPress, or some other aspect?
No, until now it's pretty clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's it. So do you want to start back up on Monday?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Same at noon, or?
Yeah, let's do.
I don't mind.
Yeah, okay. 12 p.m. noon. Sounds good.
Sounds good.